I want to talk about this Uncharted trailer that leaked today. Now, let's be clear. Let's be fair. It isn't the final trailer. It also isn't the whole trailer. My guess would be that trailer probably represents a quarter, right? Maybe, 25, 30% maybe of the actual trailer. So, you got to judge it on that. You got to judge it on the fact that clearly the effects weren't done, I don't think, or at least the leak made it look really bad blue screen or green screen or whatever. My guess would be that even though the trailer is dropping soon, what leaked was, because remember, I think also when the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer leaked, there were some effect shots that didn't look complete. And then like a week later or a few days later, it was out and it was complete. RPG, hello RPG, good to see you. Thank you for being here, buddy. He says, a new Uncharted, haven't seen it. You can find it all over the internet. I'm surprised Sony hasn't taken it down. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want to get this taken down if they eventually do decide to do that. But basically, I'll describe it to you real quick if you haven't seen it. It is 90% of the trailer is Nathan Drake, aka Tom Holland, doing the Uncharted 3 version of the game, where the cargo plane has all the boxes fly out the back and he's kind of running up the cargo nets and the boxes trying to get back into the plane and somebody's chasing him. And then there's a shot of Tom Holland when he's on the airplane thing, he's in the traditional Drake outfit, and then he's in kind of more of a suit or a tux or something, and this Scottish guy comes up to him and he says something all kind of, it's a very thick accent. And so he's like, I'm going to take your beating, blah, blah. Something like that. And then Tom Holland or Nathan Drake, it's supposed to be a funny little moment where he's like, wait, okay, I know this is scary, but what did you just say? And then suddenly the bad guy beats up on him, and that's kind of the end. So I have a couple of takeaways from this. I don't know what you guys think. The first one is, I thought Tom Holland... Okay, let's put it this way. If you are a video game fan and you are an Uncharted fan, Tom Holland looks like bad casting. I had a little bit more faith when they released that one picture of him in that sort of iconic pose with the total iconic, Drake outfit. And I was like, okay, this could work. But actually seeing him in sustained action, if you're looking for a character who looks like the video game character, or at least feels that way, like this doesn't feel that way, at least from what they've shown now. He just doesn't have the, I like Tom Holland. I think he's awesome, but he doesn't have, in my opinion, kind of that raw masculinity of a character like Drake or Indiana Jones. He's soft, and I don't mean that as a human, like he's a soft, he doesn't have any, moral fiber or anything, but in terms of just sort of, he's not the guy I would pick to go into a bar fight with me. And that's sort of what Drake is supposed to be in a lot of ways. But then you have to question, okay, but let's assume for the moment the number, I was going to do the math, I didn't have time or the brain for it, but let's assume the number of people that love Uncharted enough to buy a ticket because they love the game is minuscule, even though it's a huge, massive video game brand, compared to the number of people Sony needs to get into the theater to love the movie, right? And in that case, my guess is it doesn't really matter if it feels like the Uncharted Nathan Drake that we love and that we want to see on the screen, because if it's a good performance and if it's a good or great movie, nobody gives a shit. It'll be a great movie regardless, and Tom Holland will become Nathan Drake in the cinematic universe, and we're off to the fucking races. But then at that point, you have to sort of look at it and judge it as just a movie. So let's say you're someone who's never played Uncharted, you maybe have heard of it, you probably haven't heard of it, and you're just going to the movies and you see this teaser. Well, then I think you're in even kind of more trouble if this teaser is indicative of the trailer and the trailer that's coming soon is indicative of the movie. Because there really was nothing in this trailer that was interesting, right? I mean, special effects have gotten so ubiquitous, like big effect scenes and big set pieces, that it's less about the big and it's more about, whoa, I've never seen that before creatively, right? Like when King Kong and Godzilla, King Kong literally takes an axe and throws it through the city and it embeds into a fucking building. You're like, okay, I've seen a lot of buildings get blown up in movies for decades now, but that I haven't seen that before, right? This kind of just feels like, like the plane thing you would think would be some amazing moment, and I'm sure on the big screen it'll be better and all that stuff. Of course it will, non-leaked footage, but in a complete effect shot. But it was just like, okay, you know, and the whole Nathan Drake doing the kind of like, aw shucks, like, wait, what? You're speaking Scott? Oh no, I have to get back in the fight. It's like, how many fucking times, you know, have we kind of seen that, right? Here's what I'll tell you. I was on NeoGAF. That's the website I like to go to, or the forum I like to go to. Overall, you know, some people like it, some people don't. But some person wrote this, which I thought was just spot on the way I feel about it, which is, this is going to be one of the most tailored focus group experiences ever made. Not 1 inch of a vision. It's like hearing AI make a pop song. That's from Tomib over on NeoGAF. I think it's absolutely right. And I think ultimately it will be a good... And again, maybe this movie will be great. I mean, you never know till the fucking movie comes out. You always got to give it a chance. But, you know, look, assuming that the trailer reflects the movie, which is, it is like this guy says, there's no real vision. It feels like there's like 25 execs giving notes and happy they're giving notes and happy they're involved in the process. And there's nobody really with a vision guiding this fucking thing. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what it feels like. Well, if you look at the Last of Us TV show so far, that doesn't feel that way, right? That feels like they're actually trying to make something. And maybe that's because Neil Druckmann's heavily involved. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the source material is unique enough, whereas Uncharted never really was much more than an Indiana Jones brought up to modern times or a Lara Croft as a dude. So maybe it was just never going to be anything other than a movie written by committee. But hopefully, though, maybe if the movie does come out and fail, and Last of Us 2 does really well, maybe Sony will, you know, I mean, you know, it takes time for people to learn this shit, you know. There is such an intoxication because of the media around movie making, even though it's not glamorous and it's not what they sell you, if you've ever worked in movies or been behind the scenes or known people behind the scenes, but they sell you that constantly. That's part of their brand. That's part of the product they sell. And so people in the industry and game industry are not susceptible to it. It's probably the reason that, you know, Brett Ratner was going to direct God of War. Who in their right mind sitting there, and I had left Sony by then, who in their right mind sitting there was looking at this option for Brett Ratner, one of the just not only a terrible human allegedly, but not a very good director. Hey, there's the guy we should give the crown jewel of Sony IP to. Let's give it to Brett Ratner. But they just wanted to be in the business. They wanted to have a film out, right? So hopefully, if this movie does come out and it doesn't deliver, it'll be they'll go, okay, let's not do that again. Let's pick the right projects to greenlight that have enough meat on the bones, and more importantly than that, let's make sure that we're making stuff that's driven by someone. It could be an executive. I don't fucking know. I mean, Kevin Feige clearly drives a lot at Marvel, but it's got to come from a place of vision. Otherwise, man, you're gonna get. I mean, again, maybe the movie will be great, but it doesn't look great. What do you think about the Twisted Metal series? They cast Anthony Mackie, says Villar. Yeah, I mean, all I know on the Twisted Metal series is I've had 3 conversations with those guys. I like the pedigree. Okay, I like Zombieland. I like a lot. I love Deadpool. And what they pitched me, what I like about what they pitched me. Yeah, Brian King says Brett Ratner's a visionary. He's a visionary piece of shit, sir. At least allegedly. I was going to put the allegedly in there. What I like about what they're doing with Twisted Metal, though, is there is a recognition, clearly, that you can't just take Twisted Metal as the game and transfer it 1-to-1. I mean, you could do that. But I think they kind of recognize that if they really want to get a real series that has legs out of it, you got to do something different than that. I mean, how far they'll go from the source material to the point that fans may say this doesn't even feel like Twisted Metal, that's probably the biggest question I have. But I don't think they would do it out of disrespect for the source material. I think they would do it because TV is in long form narrative storytelling is a very different medium. So I think Anthony Mackie is great. I think Will Arnett is great. I think the people behind the scenes are great. It's not greenlit yet, but I have a lot of faith in it. I'm excited by it. But I think what I'm excited by is in the same way I think that if they were to make God of War or Detroit Become Human, I don't know who owns the rights to that, which I think would be a great movie, or if they're making Last of Us, I think those games come to the table already with a really good spine, a really good Bible of this is the world, this is the core story that should be told first. And, it's more about how do you execute on the vision that's already been prepared and bring it to film. Almost like if you had optioned a novel, right? And it's like, okay, well, we have to keep the essence of the novel and the story, but we have to turn it into a movie. I think with Twisted Metal is kind of like Uncharted. Twisted Metal works because it's built on the bones of zeitgeisty shit that we got from the movies, whether it's Mad Max or Smokey and the Bandit or Dukes of Hazzard or whatever. And the minute you try to make it its own thing, you have to invent a bunch of shit. And I think sometimes that works, but you have to try it. Whereas Uncharted looks like they're going almost one for one, which I think is, I don't know how smart that is, but we'll find out soon together. Shan't we? We will, goddammit.